Today's story is Justice League Drown. This was a crossover event that happened in 2018 to 2019, in which the alien gods of the oceans were determined to see Earth's oceans raise up and drown everyone that wasn't a sea dweller. This is the Comicstorian Full Story channel. I take comic books, I turn them into a narrative drama, and hopefully this helps you pick up things to add to your collection. Make sure you check out our main channel, Comicstorian, if you want to get videos as they're coming out, which include individual issues, because that's how we normally do this. We break them down into individual issues and tell you the stories as they're coming out, or just like and subscribe here if you end up liking this and you want weekly videos. Here we go. When he was a boy, Arthur Curry would go out with his father on their fishing boat. He wanted to find new oceans, new waters to explore. His father told him, though, that the waters had already been mapped. Now, as an adult, Arthur Curry is Aquaman, and he is in the Arctic Circle with Wonder Woman and Firestorm following a magical ship in a bottle. They are searching for an ancient hidden ship, in which is locked the legendary key to the graveyard of the gods. They search for the dead god Poseidon. The ship is buried within the ice, deep beneath the surface, and hidden within the bow of the ship lies what they seek. Suddenly, a strange creature lashes out, and it is vast, with its watery limbs created by some strange alien liquid. The trio try to fight with Firestorm caught within its liquid, and Aquaman dives in to rescue him, but it's too late. His friend is mutated, becoming some strange aquatic creature that he has never seen before. The monster grabs Arthur next, and the world goes dark. When the light returns, Arthur is confused. His armor is gone and his skin is covered in some strange symbols. What is going on? Where am I? You are in the Blood Reef, Sea King of Earth. Welcome. The speakers are some of the sea gods, the ocean lords, and they are the invaders from the stars. And the Earth is under attack. Amnesty Bay, in the past. Lightning flashes in the skies as the waves pound against the shore, and despite the storm, Tom Curry runs to the beach, his young son Arthur in his arms. Atlanta, don't do this, he calls against the wind and the rain, and his wife, Arthur's mother, stands surrounded by sea creatures in waist-deep waters. Tom doesn't understand. They aren't safe with her around. She is doing this for Arthur. And Atlanta begins to drift under the water. She leaves them with one last parting. Goodbye, my loves. In the growing storm, Arthur calls for his mother, yet she is already gone. The Blood Reef now. On a piece of alien coral floating in another dimension, Arthur Curry is bound in chains. Strange creatures from an alien sea surround him. Their language is indecipherable, their thoughts lost to him. He tries to speak with them, yet his words bring anger and blows. The creature's hands are stayed, however. His death belongs to the Ocean Lords, Admiral Tin states, using her power to drown the creature as Arthur looks on in horror. You would kill your own men? What kind of queen are you? But Tide and the other Ocean Lords are not royalty. They are the gods from alien oceans, come to Earth to see its destruction. The others check in, and Captain Gall informs them that their fleet has blockaded the Earth. Commander Dro controls the flood, and soon the Earth will be drowned, and the people transformed into hideous monsters. Arthur begs them to stop. They need not have war. We can have peace. But it is far too late. In Gotham City, the waters have risen. The people are drowning in the streets. Commissioner Gordon struggles to get an old lady inside before she almost drowns, but everyone who comes in contact with the strange liquid is transformed. Behind him, Batman appears. Gordon's men are gone, and Batman informs him that he is coordinating with the Justice League to try and save as many as he can. Batman wants Jim out of there, though. But before his friend can respond, the old lady tackles Jim. She is now a strange fish creature, sending Jim to the watery streets. Gordon emerges, now a monster as well. Shut the door and barricade it. Get to the roof. Batman orders to the survivors and then turns to his friend. Jim rushes the Dark Knight, his claws raised. I'm sorry, Jim, I'll fix this, I swear. And with that, Batman disappears. Meanwhile, over at the Hall of Justice, Batman orders Magan to end the mental transmission that he was sending to Gotham. The League's top scientists are trying their best to figure out a solution, while the rest are trying to save the world. Batman, his body in a cast, is coordinating everything with the help of Magan's mind link. Batman orders an evac of the Hall, and he informs her that he'll be staying behind to guard the totality, the mighty secret of the universe that the Justice League recently acquired. He then begins to check in with the rest of the League. Over in Metropolis, Superman is overseeing the evacuation. Thankfully, Lois is safe in the Fortress of Solitude, but across the planet, moving at blinding speeds, Flash is helping everywhere that he can. The heroes of the world are doing their best to protect the people of the Earth. In Atlantis, Queen Mera fights against her own people, transformed into the creatures that the oceans have never seen before. Her magics keep them at bay while she climbs. She needs assistance. And finally getting high enough, she rips the bars off of the prison windows, revealing the Ocean Master. Orm, are you with me? He agrees. Back at the Blood Wreath, Aquaman's prison, Arthur watches helplessly as the heroes of Earth try to save his people. Aquaman questions the gods why they would terrorize his planet. In the past, the heroes of Atlantis and the god Poseidon locked away the Ocean Lords. They watched as their own worlds died without their protection and guiding hands. For this, they have returned, and they will punish Arthur and the Earth. They are not alone. From the waters behind him rises Aquaman's oldest enemy, Black Manta. The Legion of Doom sends its regards, Arthur. In Metropolis, protective measures have failed, and the city is now underwater. Floating above it, Superman is contacted by Batman, with the League having pinpointed the source of the alien flood, a strange creature in the mid-Atlantic. His eyes glow red with anger. Tell me where this thing is, now, Clark orders. Superman arrives fast. The creature is huge, made of living water, and it turns its strange eyes on the Man of Steel as he acknowledges it. I don't know who you are. I don't know why you're here, but I need you to understand something. This world is under my protection. And with these words, the Man of Steel brings his hands together in a clap so powerful that it sends a shockwave through the beast, dissipating it. I heard that from Coast City, Flash shouts as he arrives at the scene, running so fast that his feet never actually come in contact with the water. So fast, in fact, that he can't stop as the creatures begin to reform around him. Unable to stop, the Flash runs straight into the creature's open mouth. Superman watches as that creature reforms in the ocean before him, and from behind a voice calls out, "Its name is the Flood. It comes from a race of Krakens native to my homeworld." Commander Drogue rises out of the ocean atop his demonic seahorse steed. Drogue wraps his hands around the Man of Steel's throat, and your world's reckoning has only just begun. Back on the Blood Reef, Aquaman and Black Manta begin to do battle as Admiral Tide watches on. Manta taunting Aquaman for not knowing his true power. Aquaman doesn't know of what he speaks and demands the villain fight. Tide agrees and shows him, showing him Mera. In Atlantis, Mera and Ocean Master are fighting for their lives. With Arthur reaching out to Mera, he tries to warn her, but Orm knows that they are running out of time. He sends her to the Hall of Crowns, where the remains of the greatest heroes and kings of Atlantis rest. He tells her of the legend of Orion, of the heroes that fight against the evil creatures from the stars, and with this legend, he shows Mera the crown of Orion, which should lead them to the weapon that the hero used to strike down these evil creatures. Suddenly the wall crashes inward as Captain Gaul arrives. Mera trying to use her magic to hold off the invaders, but Orm knows that it's only a matter of time. Sacrificing himself, he buys Mera time to escape. Back on the surface, Drogue is using his powers to suck the life out of Clark's body, out of the Superman. The Man of Steel is drained and almost lifeless, and releasing him, Drogue watches as he plunges towards the surface of the water. But the Flash is there, somehow unaffected by these flood waters that are changing mere mortals. Scooping Superman up, the fastest man alive retreats from the conflict. And in the Hall of Justice, Batman orders Magan to begin an evacuation, staying behind to guard their piece of the source wall, the mysteries of the universe, the totality. On the Blood Reef, though, Arthur watches in despair as the Earth falls. Triumphant, Tide grabs him, her energy pulling his true power from him, the power of the life force from the ocean. Ripping it out of Aquaman's body, she releases it into Black Manta. Arthur crumbles to the floor. It's gone. I can't feel it. I can't feel the ocean anymore. This is what you felt all this time, Aquaman? Black Manta calls out. You had this much power and you used it to speak to fish? The Earth has fallen. The Ocean Lords will build a new empire, and nothing will stop them. But outside, the guards see a ship approaching in the fog. Suddenly, they are cut down by a sword, and a shield spins through the air with a glowing lasso wrapping around the final guard. Now tell me, orders an armor-clad Wonder Woman. Tell me, where the hell is Aquaman? Back at the Hall of Justice, Batman is trying desperately to reach any member of the League that is left. Trapped in his hover chair, he asks Jarro, which is actually a portion of Starro in a jar, to reach out with his telepathy.
I'm getting nothing, Dad. No one.
The little alien tells him. The totality is safe for now, but the outside walls won't hold against the waters forever. From the static finally comes a friendly voice. Batman? Flash, thank God. Were you able to defeat the thing? But Flash and Superman couldn't even make a dent in the strange alien creature. What about the rest of the team? They're right here, unfortunately. Behind them, the rest of the Justice League and the reserves, fully mutated by the alien's waters, are chasing Flash as he pushes Superman across the ocean. Superman, weakened by Droge's touch, can do little more than smack some of their former friends away when they get close, but luckily, he sports an awesome symbol eye patch now. Suddenly out of the ocean in front of them springs Swamp Thing, his body molded into tentacles. Caught in his grasp, Superman and Flash are powerless to break free. How the hell do you fight a magic fished out element? Flash yells as the tentacles squeeze tighter. He's a tree! You chop him down! Mara cries, her sword severing the former hero's limbs. We can't take them alone. We need the forces of Atlantis, Superman tells her, but Mara informs the heroes that Atlantis has been destroyed. Using Orion's crown, she transports all of them, hopefully, to where the weapon that will destroy the flood awaits. On the Blood Reef, Aquaman is being made to walk the plank. Below lies the Charabo Vortex, a black hole in the universe's great whirlpool. Everything is ripped apart in its tides, and the ocean lords stand at his back. Long ago, they walked this plank as well, and they spent eons in the graveyard of the gods before finally breaking free. Aquaman's eyes are downcast, stripped of his power. He's already been broken. It doesn't have to be this way, he pleads, but oh, it does. You've taken my power. But Aquaman isn't done yet, and he turns on his captors, leaping against Gaul. But I live with Batman, and I've learned a few tricks. Using his enemy's blade, he severs his chains. Striking out, he gathers a weapon, rushing into combat. He swings the blade against Tide, but he's stayed by Droge's hand, stopping the blade as if it were nothing. With a simple gesture, the god throws Aquaman into the void. But instead of being ripped apart, he is saved, landing on the small ship that Wonder Woman pilots. Get up and sail. We need to get back to Earth, she orders, but no. Aquaman pleads with her. They have to go to the graveyard of the gods. Diana, please. God help us. So be it, she yells as she smashes the key into the deck. But I fear we are charting a course for nowhere. Mara, Superman, and Flash have now arrived at the Atacama Desert, the driest place on Earth. They are searching for Orion's tomb. It's hidden in that desert where no one can find it. Before their eyes, Flash begins to mutate, his jaw shifting into some sort of fin. Using his speed, he is holding off the infection, but he doesn't know how long he can do it. As his powers begin to return under the sun, Superman believes that he can see the tomb, so Flash runs, uncovering the long hidden structure. Meanwhile, Arthur and Diana are sailing across the hidden rivers of the cosmos, charting a course for the graveyard of the gods. Beneath their hull, the stars transform into water once more, and before them lies a strange palace made of bone. They have arrived. Back in Orion's tomb, Superman pushes inside the entrance. They are looking for the Tear of Extinction, the weapon that will allow them to defeat the Ocean Lords. Mara is shocked. The tomb, it's desecrated and the tear is missing. Suddenly a voice speaks out of the darkness. Black Manta, and in his hand he holds the tear. The only weapon that might save the Earth. Mara rushes towards the villain, her sword raised in her hand, and Droge is at Manta's back as the tomb begins to fill with floodwaters. In the graveyard of the gods, Aquaman and Wonder Woman have managed to escape the guardian of this place, but they now come face to face with the decrypted remains of Poseidon. He's been locked here, never to escape. Aquaman informs the dead god of the situation, begging him to return his powers and show them how to defeat the Ocean Lords. Arthur Curry, if you think I am your savior, then you are already dead. And with these words, Poseidon thrusts his trident into Aquaman's chest. Meanwhile, the Hall of Justice's walls cannot withstand the force against it. Inside, Batman is calling out to any member of the Justice League. Can you hear me? But Jarro cannot sense anyone.
Are they okay?
The small creature asks, fear in its voice, and Batman tells the little starfish, it'll be all right, we're gonna win. He picks up Jarro's container, and they begin to evacuate. From behind, a blast of energy destroys Batman's chair, and over him stands the Legion of Doom. Meanwhile, Mara, Superman, and Flash are trying to withstand the might of the Flood and the mutated creatures of Earth. They continue to battle, holding back to the end, but Flash begins to mutate farther, his mind now calling out to Black Manta's new powers. And back at the Hall of Justice, Batman has managed to escape, slipping into the trophy room. Lex Luthor stands over the totality, a piece of the source wall, the power of creation at his fingertips. In the trophy room, Batman attacks clad in the old Luthor armor, his fists punching through a wall, sending Gorilla Grodd flying. Visiting hours are over, but I think there's an exhibit or two that I can show you. I do love this part! The Joker laughs, and the rest of the Legion prepare to attack. Meanwhile, back in the graveyard of the gods, Diana has leapt to the aid of Arthur, her fists impacting against Poseidon. But the god shrugs her off easily, allowing Arthur to return, his wounds seemingly healing. Arthur doesn't understand. Poseidon was only trying to use his trident to imbue him with the power of life, but his strength has waned. He stood alongside the hero Orion eons ago and fought against these beings, so why not help now? So Poseidon tells him the truth. When the gods known as the Ocean Lords came to the Earth before, it wasn't as invaders. Orion wanted to share the life force of the oceans with the others, so he sent out the call to the stars. When the others arrived, Poseidon did not trust them, nor want to share his power. He tricked Orion, convincing him that the Ocean Lords were evil. Together, the two locked them away in the graveyard of the gods until they escaped and became the evil beings that they are now. What was happening on Earth was Poseidon's fault. There must be something we can do, some way to make them see the light. But Poseidon knows what the graveyard can do to a god. They cannot be saved, they must be destroyed. Meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice, Lex has the totality, when suddenly the wall explodes with the force of Sinestro and Grodd's bodies. As they fall to the ground, Batman stands there, Joker's throat locked in his fist. "Step away from the totality," he orders, and Joker waves. But Lex now has the power of the totality in his hands, and he simply teleports the Legion of Doom away, leaving Batman stunned. Mara, Superman, and Flash continue their fight, yet it is a losing battle and they know it. Suddenly, Mara realizes that the energy from the Tear of Extinction still lies within the bones of Orion. Using her magic, she forms a blade from the tears. Drogue screams, calling out to his Kraken to destroy her! But it is too late as Mara swings her new weapon. The creature dies with one blow, forcing the floodwaters to retreat. She moves quickly, blade piercing Drogue next. Yet he is strong, and with a wounded cry, he throws her away. "They have the power to destroy us, we must retreat!" Black Manta protests, but it doesn't matter, the villains are gone. The heroes of Earth now have a weapon to use in this war against the drowned. Back at the graveyard of the gods, though, Poseidon could feel the dark realm beginning to crumble. "We are not dead yet. There's still time to make this right, Poseidon." Poseidon stares at the former king. "Perhaps there is a way." The three begin to head towards Wonder Woman's boat, with Poseidon handing his trident over to Aquaman. "Use it as a weapon, as Orion did eons ago. Fuel it with the Tear of Extinction. Make it rich with death." Arthur and Diana have no chance of escaping the realm without Poseidon's help. So with the last of his power, he pushes their craft from the crumbling world. Back on the Blood Reef, the Ocean Lords sense Aquaman and Wonder Woman's escape. Now the heroes of Earth have weapons that can defeat them. They have no choice. "Release the Death Kraken!" Black Manta calls out. Still trapped in the tomb of Orion, Mara, Superman, and Flash continue to fight their way out. His powers returning, Superman is still wearing the super symbol eye patch, so he only uses one eye for heat vision. It looks cool, so no one says anything. Despite the fact that they killed the Flood Kraken, though, the infectious waters still surround them. When suddenly they are saved, as above them floats Wonder Woman's ship. "Ahoy!" greets Aquaman. Mara and Arthur reunite, embracing in a lover's kiss, and the team sets sail for the Ocean Lords. Flash and Superman dressed as pirates to protect them from the infectious waters because, why not? Everything's gonna be okay now. Arthur knows how to stop the Ocean Lords. Using Poseidon's trident fused with the Tears of Extinction in Mara's sword, they have a weapon that can destroy them, but he doesn't want to do that. Knowing what happened in the past, Arthur believes that they can end this peacefully. The rest of the team are not quite so sure. To get past their barrier, there is only one way that they can do it. Launch the ships that Orion has hidden within Atlantis, destroying the city once and for all. Arthur believes that it is the only way. They have to destroy Atlantis. The team agrees on the plan when suddenly above them the sky split open, and from the depths of another realm emerges the Death Kraken, its massive tentacles reaching forth into our world. "Commander Drogue, if they make it through the barrier, you may set the beast upon them," Tide calls out. Diana will launch the city towers. Aquaman, Mara, Superman, and Flash will hold back the Kraken. Wonder Woman dives, and the rest set sail for battle, fighting to hold the world against the tide. In the depths of Atlantis, Diana tries to unlock the towers, but is assaulted by Cheetah. The two begin to lock into battle, with Diana knocking her enemy away, quickly trying to continue with the lock. A claw slashes at her back, though, and blood is drawn. Cheetah roars, the Legion has won. Nothing can save them now, when suddenly, a blast saves them by throwing Cheetah away. And standing before them is our broken Batman. Sorry, was she talking? Batman had programmed the teleporters to take him to the League's leader. With Jean off-world, that's Diana. The two then launched the city towers. Aquaman tries again to call out to the gods, pleading with them to stop this, to end things peacefully. They hear his words, yet they ignore them. Beneath them, the waters begin to churn, and breaking the surface, the towers begin to launch. Batman to the Justice League. The towers of Atlantis are making their ascent. You may want to move. Batman orders, and he also wonders if Wonder Woman has any way to steer them. Clinging to the ship, Diana calls out to her friend over the roars of the engine. I'm riding a 4,000-year-old spaceship, Batman. It's safe to say that I'm winging it. The heroes watch below as the ships launch forward, ripping through the barriers of the Ocean Lord's ships. Now is their chance as Aquaman and Mera ride forward to face the gods, while the rest of the League hold back the Kraken. Luthor to Manta. The tide is turning in the favor of the Justice League. Finish what we set out to do and I'll teleport you out. But Manta has tasted true power now and he no longer needs Luthor or the League. Mera and Aquaman grow closer to the Ocean Lords, with Mera calling out for Arthur to finish off their enemy. Yet Arthur still believes that there is a better way. He refuses to kill unless he has to. The Kraken's massive tentacle crashes down on their small ship, smashing it to kindling. But Flash is there still holding onto himself, his body mutated, his words little more than gibberish. The Flash deposits both Mera and Arthur on the enemy ship, speeding away to continue the battle. Shaking Mera back to consciousness, she now realizes the tear of extinction has changed her, shifting her heart to the black of death. Arthur is right, there is another way. He has to tap into his power, changing the tear back to a weapon of light. He is connected to all life. He could do this. Mera believes in him. And with that, it's worked. The shell that held the tear of extinction now hums with the force of life. Arthur hands it back to Mera, surprising her, because long ago, the monarch of Atlantis called out to the universe. I'm not the monarch. I can't play that role anymore, but you can. See the world as it should be, he tells her. So she places the shell to her head, and despite the death, the destruction around them, the Kraken's massive tentacles reaching out and grasping, Mera sends out a signal to all of the universe, to all that would hear it. Unknown in countless worlds see her vision, a life connected through the sharing of knowledge, of good faith. Above them, the Ocean Lords hear this message as well. Drogue, leash the Kraken! Tide orders. She is ready for a trick, for some act of aggression. And Arthur arrives with Mera, but they are not here to fight. Kneeling before these old gods, his hands offering the trident of Poseidon. You would give us this trident when we claimed your seas, your people? Tide questions. Arthur would, for the past mistakes of his people. This was the fate of the trident all along, for the original vision that was sent forth by Orion. The Ocean Lords stop, for maybe it is time for a parley. To end the bloodshed. But from behind, the blades of Black Manta find their way into Commander Drogue's spine. Blades that are coated with the tears of extinction. Drogue perishes before their eyes. And retrieving the bone crown that Drogue used to control the Kraken, Manta reveals his plot. Say hi to Earth's new sea god. Steel flies through the air as his blade finds its mark in Captain Gull's chest, and another god falls. But before Tide can meet her own end, Arthur manages to block the blade with his hand. The Tide is still wounded. Manta stands victorious, the words of Lex Luthor ringing in his ears. The oceans are not the League's concern. But Manta doesn't care. He has everything now, and as she lays bleeding, Tide takes the powers back from Black Manta, returning them to Arthur. It matters not, though. So what? Go ahead and talk to Fish, Arthur. What good is it to you now? He gloats. But suddenly Arthur appears with the entire might of the Fish mutated League behind him. Well, when every hero on Earth is a fish, plenty. He orders the other heroes to stop the Kraken. What about Manta? Questions Mera. Manta is mine. Trident and blade meet. The two titans locking blows as the battle for the very future of the planet comes down to these two men. The Kraken will not listen to Manta. He is but a man. And finally, Arthur gets the upper hand, twisting Manta's arm, defeating him. Arthur, the Kraken is too powerful. It's going to reach the ocean. Mera is panicked, for once the creature reaches the waters, all life on Earth will end. Staring up at the massive creature, Arthur knows what must be done. Not on my watch! He adjusts the ship's course, steering for the massive jaws of the Death Kraken. Arthur carries the life force in him. The chain reaction of hitting the Death Kraken will kill it. He can hear Mera's pleas. He can't do this. He'll die. You call me your queen, will I command you? Come back! Do not do this! She watches as the ship draws nearer to the end, the creature filling Arthur's vision. My heart, I wish you fair winds and following seas. Always, I will see you again, Mera. In his last moments, the memories of sailing with his father fill his vision, and he is gone. 3 days have passed since the end of our conflict and the supposed death of Aquaman. The waters have receded, and the people of Earth have returned to normal. Vague memories of what happened are all that remain. They know the heroes of Earth saved them, and that's enough. But meanwhile, in the Hall of Justice, a statue of Aquaman has been erected in dedication of our fallen hero. But not everyone believes that he is truly gone. Because somewhere, unknown, Arthur Curry washes ashore. And there you have it, today's full story. I hope you guys enjoyed. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell right here on this channel, as it will only ever be receiving full stories from the other channel. And if you want to see the videos as they come out, make sure you go check out the Comicstorian main channel, where you get 5 days of videos a week. I'll see you next time.